What happens when evolution stops asking for permission? In Absolute Batman issue 17, Gotham doesn't just face a villain, it faces a transformation. Batman steps into a nightmare where science, nature, and identity collide. And Pamela Isley is no longer just Poison Ivy. She's something bigger, something beyond human. Fire rains down, the city trembles, and Bruce Wayne is forced to confront a terrifying question. If change is inevitable, what survives? This isn't just a battle, it's rebirth. But before we start the video, if you're new to our channel, please subscribe, because your one subscription motivates us to create more amazing videos like this. Let's jump into it. Our comic opened with a towering view of Gotham City, the buildings stretching high into the pale sky. Petals drift through the air as narration begins. On my 10th birthday, my mother surprises me with a trip into Gotham City. We live way out in Kane County, deep in the woods, just the two of us. I'm not used to wearing shoes. We visit the Hart Building, go to the very top. The height is dizzying, but my mother grips my hand tight. Do they call it the Hart Building because it's shaped like a heart? I ask, peeking over the edge. No, my girl, she says. She calls me Ivy because I love climbing trees in the hollow behind our cabin. It's called that because it was built at the heart of the city, where the crosswinds intersect, carrying currents to all 5 boroughs. The legend is, more than anywhere else in the city, this spot gives a wish the best chance of taking root somewhere out there and growing strong. My mother plucks a dandelion for me. She is already sick, but I don't know this yet. Make a wish from the heart, she says, and so I do. Now, we are inside a dark, abandoned upper floor of a building. The ceiling panels hang loose, wires dangle, and the space feels hollow and rotting. A lone police officer walks cautiously through the corridor, flashlight beam cutting through the gloom. He calls out into the darkness. Hello? Whoever's up here, this is private property. His boots step forward carefully. You need to. At his feet, something ruptures from the ground. Small green vines burst through cracked flooring, followed by swollen pink organic pods pushing up from the earth, like grotesque flowers blooming in fast forward. The officer freezes, shining his light ahead. What the? All around him, bulbous pink pods pulse and glisten. Inside them, shapes, human shapes, suspended, curled, barely visible through the fleshy membrane. The officer recoils in horror. Fucking hell! Before he can react further, a tall, plant-like figure steps from the shadows behind him. Elegant, terrifying, vines curling around her limbs. She speaks calmly. Welcome, officer, to my wish. The scene cuts to a massive aerial view of Gotham. From above, we see something impossible. A colossal tree of twisted trunks and glowing green canopy erupting from the heart of the city, its roots tearing through concrete and steel, swallowing entire buildings. A police helicopter circles the growth, its spotlights scanning the unnatural forest rising between skyscrapers. A voice crackles over comms. What in God's name are we looking at, Sarge? Another officer responds grimly. Damned if I know, Lieutenant. Heads up. Hill just issued a full biohazard 5-block radius. Our job is now to watch out for anyone trying to get in. Another voice scoffs nervously. In? What kind of psycho would? Batman kneels amid torn vines and pulsing green growth, his cape draped over twisted bark and organic matter. A red breathing tube runs from his cowl into a respirator unit, filtering the contaminated air. In his hands, heavy industrial chainsaws, their blades slick with green residue. Calm, focused. He activates comms. I'm in. Talk. Alfred monitoring from the Batcave, screens reflecting in his glasses as data scrolls rapidly. GCPD intel indicates the air is highly contaminated with an unknown biological agent. 7 of Bullock's best went in ahead of you and, Batman pauses slightly. Huh? What? Alfred adjusts his glasses, reading further. Apparently they humped in an augmented up MUC with. Batman cuts him off, eyes narrowing beneath the cowl. English, Pennyworth. Alfred sighs lightly before clarifying. Sorry, an augmented mobile ultrasonic cannon, an extremely powerful military-grade weapon that uses compressed sound waves to separate cells. Whatever is in there, just be careful, kid. A squad of officers in heavy hazmat gear stands in a loose circle, motionless. Pink buds glow faintly around them. Behind the line of armored figures, Batman crouches in the shadows, watching. He speaks through comms. I have eyes on the officers. I'm looking right at them. Alfred says, that's not possible. Maybe that stuff in the air is, and I'm looking right at the police scans. There are no human signatures on your floor or any floor near it. One of the helmeted officers' heads twitches slightly. GK, inside the visor, The officer's face is wrong, skin splitting, eyes bulging, teeth multiplying, flesh sprouting thorns and pink growths. Alfred says, "Whatever you're looking at, they're not people." The page shifts to a flashback. 1 week ago, Batman Combat Journal. I find something today. I'm in the sewer looking for him again. And suddenly, there it is in the water. The sight makes my stomach turn. Reptiles shed when they're getting bigger, not smaller. I force out the thoughts. The arrowhead is working. Waylon is getting better. That's what I choose to believe. I also choose to believe that he's still my friend. The scene shifts to outside Iceberg Lounge. Eddie is being restrained by 2 men near the entrance. One of them warns, "You set foot on this block one more time, we have orders from Mr. Cobblepot to shut you up, Wayne. You tell Ozzy I'll be back tomorrow." And the day after that, Bruce standing alone outside a door in a dim hallway, night air heavy around him. He speaks quietly, almost rehearsing. "It will never be king. They call me Jack. My queen I met in the field out back. A prince is born from our unmatched pair. But my line ends with my heir. Come on, Eddie. What am I?" Bruce stands with Dr. Tompkins. She speaks gently. "I'm sorry I don't have an answer for you, Bruce. Truly." Bruce's jaw tightens. "But his condition, Dr. Tompkins. I thought to heal. His skull needed." She cuts in, clinical but shaken. "Another month at least. Yes. Right now, Harvey's head is literally split into 2 halves, barely connected. When the nurses came in this morning, though, he was just gone." Bruce's face, frustration, confusion, guilt. The narration resumes as he walks through Gotham's crowded streets. Anchor yourself. Feel the pavement through your soles. Nothing has changed. At least nothing that matters. But everything feels different. Even Batman. Ever since Bane, they love him. He's theirs now too. In a way I didn't mean to happen. He was never supposed to be the story, just the means. But he's everywhere now. Sometimes I see that bat, and I barely know what the fuck I'm looking at. A mutated creature lunges forward, its head splitting open into a jagged, flower-like maw. Batman drives a chainsaw straight through a whipping vine. Batman says, "These things, from the data, they're a blend of human and plant DNA. The spores in the air must be some kind of recombinant mutagen." Alfred warns urgently, "Whatever you do, keep that mask on." Alfred says, "Kid, I just said." Batman snarls back, activating something in his gauntlet. "I know." Alfred tries again. "You need to." Batman roars over him, slamming through the swarm. "I know." Batman kneels in a field of green rot and torn hybrid bodies. The creatures lie scattered around him, half plant, half human remains, sinking into the glowing organic floor. He speaks into comms, breathing steady behind the respirator. "The cape. It's dense fiber. It'll work as a barrier." But those things, they weren't just human and plant hybrids. There was more to them than that. Alfred's voice comes in, tense. "You can tell me all about it back at the bunker. We're aborting this mission right." Batman cuts him off. Batman stands at its base. "Shut up and listen. I saw something like them once before. When I was in that place. Ark-M. I need you to look something up for me, Pennyworth. A name." Alfred responds immediately. "What is it?" Batman gripping the bark of the monster's trunk, chainsaws hanging at his sides, eyes burning behind the mask. One word, Isley. A lab hums under sterile light. Massive equipment hangs from the ceiling. And then Isley says, "I am 23 the next time I come to Gotham. My wish has taken hold, at least in a small way. I have a lab. I have funding. My research focuses on genetic cytological engineering, injecting human stem cells with plant DNA. I work all day and night, often sleeping in the lab. I have some early success too. I engineer a human cell containing chloroplasts, a photosynthetic human cell that can use the sun to heal, regenerate. I tour. I publish. More funding comes in, but it's not enough. Nothing is enough. My mother's sickness is back. Has been for a while. A knot of cells in her brain growing out of control. Her own body making too much of itself. At night, I look out at the city and wonder if my mother's sickness is part of some bigger pathology happening to us all. Alone, isolated, separated by walls real and technological. And imagine, we turn inward, lose touch. Malignancies grow from our own selves. But if we could reconnect, rejoin, from the heart, Ivy girl, I hear my mother say. And then it hits me. What does Ivy do? It climbs. Maybe there is a version of me somewhere that stops at plants. But not this one. Not here. I will combine our cells with more, not just plants. I will pull from all 6 kingdoms of life. I will climb higher, higher than anyone thinks possible. Scene cut back to Plo Station, where Bruce sits alone in, and the narration says, "Stay grounded, Bruce. Stick to routine. The first Saturday of the month at 9 a.m., you visit him. He might never talk, might never really explain why he did it, but still you sit and you wait. I'm sorry, Bruce. He isn't coming." "What do you mean? He has to." "I'm afraid it's up to him, and he said he just doesn't want to meet anymore. Ever. But he can't do that. You hear me, Chill? I know you're back there. This is what we do." We snap back to the present, inside the living cathedral of roots and rot. Batman stands crouched, chainsaws raised, as 2 massive plant beasts circle him, reptilian bodies fused with bark and thorn. Alfred's voice cuts through the chaos. "Kid, I'm detecting something on that floor. Something human." The creatures lunge at once. Batman is knocked sideways, slammed into the glowing ground, as claws rake across his armor. Through gritted teeth, he answers, "Yeah, well, I'm not." He rolls, bringing a chainsaw up into the belly of one creature as green matter sprays across a red-streaked panel. Alfred continues, strained but certain. The signal is weak, but it's there. "All I'm saying is," Batman slices through another snapping jaw, cape whipping behind him. Then the ground ruptures. From a mound of swollen, yellow-veined growth bursts a winged monstrosity, a hybrid horror with layered feathers, insect limbs, and a cluster of blinking pink eyes embedded across its face. Alfred finishes urgently, "Keep your eyes open." And you were onto something before. Pamela Isley, MD, MS, PhD, a whole bloody alphabet. Smart one she was. Batman ducks under the snapping jaws. One word, sharp. "Was," Alfred responds grim. "She died, age 25. Looking at her obit now. Written by her mother. You've climbed farther than we can follow. To a land of better angels." A blinding orange blast erupts. The creature's clustered eyes burst in a spray of fire and pulp as the explosion tears through its body. Batman is thrown to one knee by the shockwave. In the smoke, something rides. Batman pivots instantly, chainsaw roaring as he carves into the fibrous mound, ripping vines away. From within the growth, a desperate voice cries out, "Batman, the team, where are they?" Batman tears more of the organic shell apart, revealing a trapped officer fused into the living wall. His reply is blunt, heavy. "They're gone, Officer Gordon." Batman standing beside the freed officer, vines and torn growth hanging behind them like a ruptured cocoon. She's pale, shaken, breathing hard. "Gone? We got separated and They move carefully along the inner trunk, the green-lit cavern stretching endlessly around them. She continues, frustrated. "Brass didn't tell us anything. They just sent us in with this augied-up MUC. And, sorry, you don't know what that means, do you?" Batman answers evenly. "Of course I do." They climb higher along the massive bark ridges. She shoulders the long ultrasonic cannon. Suddenly, Batman moves. He grabs the weapon from her mid-step. "Hey, what are you?" She raises a finger to her lips. "Look, I was sent in here to stop whatever is happening up there. Me. You can join me as my partner, but you and me, this time, we're a T." The officer swings wide on the line as Batman launches upward. She shouts midair. An explosive charge detonates against the inner trunk, blasting a path through thick bark and green pulp as they rocket upward. Batman clings to the growth, hauling himself higher. Pink spores cling to his cowl. Alfred's voice filters through the comms. "You okay in there?" "The readings. It looks like the higher you go, the denser the spores get." Batman scans ahead, gripping the ultrasonic cannon. Alfred asks Bruce, "Kid?" The trunk opens into a vast organic chamber, the wood and vine twisting into the shape of a massive face. 2 glowing red-veined eyes stare out from the living wall itself. Batman stands at the base of it, cape whipping in the updraft of spores. Calm. "I'm fine." He raises the ultrasonic weapon, bracing himself against the slope of living bark. Final line, cold and absolute. "I'm going up. Don't get in my way." The page drifts back into memory. Winter in Gotham. Snow falls softly over a quiet park. Pamela walks alone, bundled in a red coat, breath visible in the cold air. A caption reads, "They're trying to stop me, but I won't let them. I'm too close now." The breakthroughs these past few weeks. Human cells remade with new DNA, first with Plantae, then Animalia, fungi, Protista, Eubacteria, and Archaeobacteria. Human cells reconnected to nature, to a common base cells that can use the best of all life to men, a cure for so much. I think of my mother full of tubes, yellowing, on a pillow that crunches like dead leaves. My sponsors, though, all they want to do is divide up each discovery, individuate, separate. Old men who only think of what my work can do for them. Fine, I'll take my research somewhere else then. I'll do it tonight. I'm coming for you, mother. I promise. The memory continues. An exterior shot of a quiet Gotham apartment building at night. Caption: that night, I go to the one place that still makes sense. Another caption follows as Bruce stands in the doorway. In the doorway, I take a moment to breathe it in. The smell of old wood, old books. Then I hear her voice. Inside, Jim and Barbara sit close together in the living room. Barbara speaks softly. I'm just worried about him. I see him trying so hard with his friends, trying to put on a brave face with me. Jim answers gently. He's a strong kid, Mar. Stronger than either of us. Barbara continues. That's the thing, Jim. I keep thinking about what you asked me. With everything going on in Gotham, what do I want to do? Barbara, as she confesses. And I know now, but I'm scared, Jim. Jim asks, why? She explains, voice trembling. Because to do it, look, there are things about me that you don't know. Things no one does. Things that if they came out, would change everything. Jim's face. He answers simply, not everything. They lean in and kiss, then creak. Jim turns sharply. The page fractures into parallel threads across Gotham. On the left, inside a shadowed industrial space, figures in red hooded jackets gather around heavy pipes and machinery. One voice says, "The Bat? We don't partner with people, Harley." Harley Quinn replies casually, "Yeah, well, I say new year, new rules." Below that, a lavish party scene. Champagne flutes raised around an enormous Gotham-themed cake. Here's to the return of Gotham's prodigal son, Jack Grimm. In a hospital corridor near a glowing green emergency room sign, two figures sit side by side. Leslie Tompkins, with pale green hair, speaks quietly. It's like the whole city has gone crazy, all because of him. She looks toward the man beside her. Even if you really believe that, what do you propose to do about it, Dick? At the bottom of the page, Bruce walks alone through darkness, hands in his jacket pockets, head bowed. His thoughts stack one after another, in small captions. Is it him changing things? Is he behind it? Or is it me? Did Batman do all this? Batman stands at the top of the colossal trunk, beneath a glowing green canopy. The air is thick with drifting yellow spores. His calm crackles. "Pennyworth? Come in." Alfred replies, "Zip, kid, spores." Batman steadies himself, scanning the clearing. "I'm here. I made it. I'm at the top, Pamela Isley." "Yes, you are." She steps forward. Pamela Isley stands barefoot on the living earth, her red hair flowing like flame, a crimson cloak billowing behind her. At her side looms a massive winged beast, scales, bone, and feather, fused into something ancient and wrong. Red eyes burning. The ground blooms beneath her feet, strange flowers and carnivorous plants opening as if in worship. She gestures lightly around them. "Isn't it beautiful?" Close on Batman's mask, white eyes narrow through the falling spores. One quiet recognition, Dr. Isley. Pamela rests her cheek gently against the massive winged creature beside her, fingers brushing along its scaled jaw. Softly, almost wistful, "I used to be. A lifetime ago." Alfred's voice fights through static in Batman's ear. "Kid, can you hear me? I'm getting nothing human up there." The signal crackles harder. "She's not Isley. Not anymore. Wait until she gets closer, and then use the MUC, you hear me? She's..." A younger Pamela stands in a lab hallway, holding a box. Fluorescent lights flicker. Caption: "I'm almost to the door when I hear the bolt lock into place." Back to the present. A burst of violent red. Vines explode from the ground and coil around Batman's arms and torso. The ultrasonic cannon is wrenched from his grip. Pamela's voice is calm, controlled. "I'll be taking the weapon, thank you." Alfred in panic says, "Now, kid." Batman looks up sharply. "It's gone." Pamela steps forward through drifting yellow spores, the great beast looming protectively at her side. Her tone is almost soothing. "It's okay. Nothing here will hurt you." Pamela stands transformed, radiant and terrifying, her red hair flowing like a living banner. Monstrous plant creatures rise behind her, winged things, snapping maws, thorn stalks twisting toward the sky. She speaks with eerie calm. "Don't be afraid, Batman. I know how frightening change can be, but it's time to let go." Below, a quiet memory overlays the chaos. Bruce walks through a crowded street, shoulders hunched, hands in his pockets. A caption grounds him. Head down, eyes forward. Hold it together. The present slams back in with violence. Batman roars, He unleashes a torrent of blazing fire from his weapon, a scorching stream that cuts across the green nightmare in a wave of orange fury. The flames arc outward, splashing against the writhing vegetation. Cut to the city. Bruce, in civilian clothes, lashes out in frustration, kicking over a street vendor's stacked crates. Wood and merchandise explode into the air. The vendor shouts, "What the hell, man?" Back to the inferno. Batman braces himself, cape whipping behind him as the firestorm widens. At the top, memory and present blur together. Flames roar through a lab corridor as a young Pamela stands near a window, frozen. Caption: "Suddenly the fire is everywhere. The orange inferno swallows the room." Another memory panel, a hand reaching up through blazing heat. Caption: "I remember feeling so terrified, but more than that, so angry." Back to the present. Batman stands braced, both hands locked on the weapon as a concentrated stream of fire tears across the battlefield toward Pamela. The blast connects. Flames engulf her silhouette. Caption overlays the chaos. "Angry because I thought that was the end." The fire swells brighter, hotter, devouring everything in its path. Then, Batman lowers slightly, scanning through the blaze. He shouts over the roar, "Pennyworth? Is she down? What are you seeing?" Through the flames, a shape collapses. Red hair, twisted vines, a face taut in shock as it sinks into molten growth. Caption: "But it wasn't." Pamela stands renewed, radiant in green and gold, her form shifting, multiplying. Caption: "It was just the beginning." She turns, serene, almost enlightened, no longer one figure, but many variations of herself. Plant-winged, thorn-crowned, blooming. Alfred's voice crackles through. "Kid, I'm seeing something. Something big. It's up there with you. It's part human, part plant, but it's more than that. It's part everything." Bruce reply, "All I see is more of her." Below, the battlefield ignites again. Multiple Isley forms circle Batman through the red glow of flames. They whisper in unison, "Time to let go, Batman. Let go. Let go." Batman swings through them with brute force, blades cutting through green flesh and vine. He roars, "Come on, then. Try it. You're not even real." The illusions recoil, but not in pain. Batman turns, eyes wide beneath the mask. Pamela says, "No, they're not." Flames twist but cannot touch her. Pamela steps from the ruins. No longer human, no longer plant, but evolved. One eye mechanical, one calm. Vines weave through her body, petals form living armor, thorns reshape her arm. Behind her, an ancient tree rises like a throne. Her crimson cloak flows, untouched by fire. Embers drift. She looks forward, fearless. Batman doubts. She answers, "But I am real, stronger, evolved." Batman drops to one knee, one hand braced in the scorched earth, the other gripping his weapon. Smoke curls around his armor. He looks up, stunned. "What?" Pamela stands before him, cloak flowing like living silk in the heat. Her voice lowers, intimate, almost gentle. "Shh. Welcome, Batman." The red glow intensifies. She tilts her head slightly, finishing the thought. "To your wish." Epilogue. The chaos gives way to quiet. A grand train station hums with distant footsteps and echoing voices. Commuters move beneath high arches and cold light. A lone woman stands at a payphone. Her voice is careful, measured. "I didn't know if you'd answer, especially after all this time." She grips the receiver tighter. "It's me. I wasn't followed. Are you still there?" Cut to darkness. A gloved hand lowers a phone. The name on the screen reads, Martha M. A voice answers from the shadows. "We're always here, Martha. We knew one day you'd come back." The camera pulls back. Three figures stand inside a dim, cathedral-like chamber. Black tactical suits, owl masks, eyes glowing amber in the dark. One finishes the sentence, "To the Court of Owls." Quantum judgment. The flames fade. The battlefield falls silent. But the real war, it was only beginning. Pamela has evolved. Gotham is shifting, and in the shadows, the Court of Owls is watching, waiting, welcoming someone back into the fold. What is the true source behind Gotham's transformation, and how deep does this conspiracy go? If you thought this issue was intense, the next chapter will change everything. There is a full playlist of Absolute Batman issues. Go watch it from the beginning to experience the full story. And don't forget to subscribe, so you don't miss what happens next, because in Gotham, nothing stays buried for long.